I'd like to begin by thanking you for all the hard work you've been doing with your PLC with looking at examining errors in reasoning. The purpose of this element is to have students produce and defend claims by examining their own reasoning or the logic of presented information, processes, and procedures. Students can demonstrate the desired effect of this element by identifying and articulating errors in logic or reasoning or the structure of an argument and explain new insights resulting from analysis. Take a minute to look through the teacher evidence for this element. Pause the podcast now and discuss with your PLC which indicators you feel are most applicable to your subject area. Now do the same for the student evidence. You have been practicing having students examine errors in their reasoning. Many of you have done this by first picking a standards-based problem for students to solve. You have modeled and thought aloud for how students would solve the problem, and you've been creating visual aids to help them with their learning. You've also been giving them copies of worked examples and providing graphic organizers to help them keep track of their thinking. You've also been working to release responsibility to the students by asking them to work additional problems with partners where they must provide an explanation for why they did the problem in a certain way. You've also been asking them to provide justification to support their reasoning or demonstrate why the solution was achieved in the correct way. You've also been working really hard to monitor student thinking and track progress by interacting with students as they work with their partners, reteaching when needed, and asking probing questions to help them examine their reasoning without giving them the correct answer. Take a minute with your PLC and talk about the experiences you have provided students in the last week to help support them in examining errors in reasoning. Specifically, talk about how you have supported students through productive struggle. Instructional Technique 3 is all about examining the efficiencies of multiple methods of solving problems. The key is to teach students how to use logic to become more flexible and adaptable in how they solve problems. The method you are going to discuss today is the compare and contrast approach. In this approach, the teacher would give students two problems and ask them to work each one using a different method, typically a conventional method and a shortcut method that reduces the number of computations. The teacher would pair up students to discuss solutions and answer questions that are focused on efficiency and/or accuracy of each method. Then the teacher would ask students to come up with a specific instance when one method would be better to use over the other and ask them to provide a justification to support their decision about the efficiency or accuracy of the two methods. As with any approach, there are pitfalls to watch out for. Be careful not to provide examples that are too complex. Be careful not to provide them the correct answer or method or to provide them with the justification. And don't forget to make sure that you build in time for them to provide their justification and make sure that they do it. As with all of our elements, it is key to monitor student understanding. Take a minute to look through these 4 ways that you can monitor student thinking. Now take a minute to review these key points and how you can provide scaffolds to support student learning. Now take a minute with your PLC and think of examples from your subject area when you teach students multiple ways to solve problems. Now think about the remainder of the standards that you will teach during quarter 2. Where could you give students the opportunity to evaluate the efficiency of multiple methods to solve problems? As always, thank you for your time and attention today.
Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air by the